Okay guys, right, paper 3. One of the first questions is to do with some inequalities. This is part A over here, and also we've got part B on the right hand side. Okay, so I'll split the question up to give us a bit of room to work. So it says n is an integer. So here's a key word for you, integer. Now integer is one of the very first things you ever learn in maths, and that is integer. It's just whole numbers. So I'll write them down here. It's just your whole numbers. Okay, so, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, some negatives, -2, -3, -4, just whole numbers. Okay, so it says, write down all the possible values of n. Well, what are the rules for n? N is here at the moment. And if you know what your inequality signs mean, and I hear a lot of people saying things like, the crocodile mouth eats the bigger thing. So if I look at this first bit here, if I write it out, I've got -2, a little inequality sign like this, and then the n is there. And what it is saying is n is in the crocodile's mouth, so n is the bigger thing. N has to be bigger than -2, but there's another condition on the other side, but it also needs to be smaller than or equal to, that's what the extra line means, 3. So basically he's saying to us that n is bigger than -2, but it's less than 3 or equal to 3. So what whole numbers could be the value of n? If I draw a number line to make this very, very obvious what's going on. So we know that we're only going up to 3, 2, 1. These are all our whole numbers that we can choose from. And we're only going down to -2. So n has got to be bigger than -2, so it can't be -2. So we could have -1, we could have 0, 1, 2, and we can have 3 because it says it can be equal to 3. It's got to be less than 3, but it can also be 3. So that's our highest value. So you would literally just write down those numbers. -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And that's the answer to that question. Once you understand those questions, they are quite easy, and you'll be looking forward to those once you've practiced them enough in the test. Part B. It says x is a number. Alright, so again, we're looking for a number. Another number is greater, sorry, is 9 greater than x, right? This is starting to get a little bit algebraic. So x is a number. There is another number, so we've got one number, x. The other number is 9 greater than x. So how do I write that mathematically? 9 more than x, 9 greater than x. So the other number is x, but it's 9 greater, so it's 9 more. So there are two numbers, x and x plus 9. Those are the two numbers. Both numbers are whole numbers, okay? So they're kind of like integers again, whole numbers. The total, and we find the total, don't we, by adding things up. The total of the two numbers is less than 60. Less than is this symbol here, less than 60. Find the greatest possible value of x, right? So we've got to work out what can these two numbers be so that when you add them up, they're less than 60. All right, so that could be anything, couldn't it? Like, you know, we could say 1 and 10 is 11. Great, solved. But the problem is we need to work out what's the biggest number that x can be. So what's the highest total we can have? What's the highest number we can have so we're still under 60? So you could do a bit of trial and error. I've seen people do it through trial and error, but it takes a long time, you know, and you can get lost. There is a better way to do it. You can set up an equation, or what's an inequality, because we haven't got an equation. So it says the total of the two numbers is less than 90, is less than 60. So it's going to be less than 60. The total of the two numbers goes here, which means add them up. So add these together, x plus 9, or x plus x is 2x, plus the numbers, which is just plus 9. Now we've got an inequality we can solve, and you might think, I don't know how to do that, but it's just the same as an equation, just the same way. If you had an equal sign here, it's the same method. So I'll show you the method. You would take away 9 from both sides. So 9 take away 9, it cancels out, and you're just left with the 2x. So 2x is got to be less than 60 take away 9 on this side would leave us with 51. And now we know that 2 times something has got to be less than 51. Let's divide both sides by 2. So what's this? Sorry, 2x divided by 2 is 1x, but 51 divided by 2, I'll just write it up there, divide by 2, is going to be, well, half of 50 is 25, and half of 1 is 0.5. So it says here, x has got to be less than 25.5. What is the greatest possible value of x? Well, x has got to be less than 25.5. It's also got to be a whole number. So the biggest number that's less than 25.5 is 25. That's the biggest whole number below 25.5. All right, I hope that's been helpful.